I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. This is a terrific turnout, and I think that when the floodgates of free agency opened up on July 1, we had one specific goal and one specific purpose, and that purpose is sitting right next to me. Well, it started much earlier. It started a year prior. Our team was off to a, very mediocre start, and talked to Mike a lot about, what it might look like if we traded our best player at the time, Stephon Marbury.
Marbury is going to pop again, and Marbury is the man. He is the man of the hour right now.
And maybe struggle through the season, but do so with a plan in mind. The plan being, to build up through free agency and potential, draft.
We talked briefly about what type of players we want to bring in, and we had a couple guys in mind. We spoke about Kobe Bryant. He was a free agent as well, but we thought maybe it'd be a long stretch to bring Kobe in. So we were, just thinking about what would be the best fit for us. Steve would be the perfect fit for us because we need a point guard. We have players in every position that's going to be successful in the near future. We just needed someone to put it all together.
Steve would come back during September before he would go to Dallas and play. And automatically you could see the ball just flopping around, and normally it wasn't like that. I said, oh my gosh, he just makes everybody better. Other than that, I didn't know a whole lot. I just knew that that's the guy. If you want to run what I want to run, we have to have a point guard like that. I didn't know he was going to be that good.
We had a focus on what we wanted to do with that money. Mike and I and Jerry, talked openly with new ownership about the idea and the thought that we were going to go after Steve Nash. Steve was the guy that we felt we had a legitimate shot at. Instead of flying to Los Angeles, we flew to Dallas. Instead of talking to Kobe, we talked to Steve, and we made it our priority, to sign him.
It was a long shot, but I also knew through Steve that Mark Cuban really was not acting right, in his opinion, with regard to their negotiations. So I knew that there was a little window.
We all jumped on the plane, and so it was Robert, and he was leading the pack, and Colangelo was myself.
There were probably 15 to 20 people at a house where we had, seemed like sort of a Thanksgiving type of thing.
Nice. Amazing crib.
And I just remember that, sitting down on a big table and trying to convince him, and having no idea whether it would work or not.
He had already met with Dallas and received what he felt was an underwhelming offer.
And at the end of the day, Dallas they thought the price tag was too high, and they allowed Steve to go. And I think it was a mistake.
I'd made such a great friendship with Dirk and Mike Finley, and just was such a part of that franchise at the time, and we'd gone from the worst team in the league to the conference finals, I think the year prior to my free agency. So I felt really embedded and invested in that organization, and wanted to stay there, frankly. But when they all showed up, everyone came out to Dallas to recruit me, and I was flattered and humbled, and I could tell that they really wanted me, and that's a great feeling, especially when the club that you had built your name with wasn't crazy about having you back. That it meant everything to me that somebody did really want me and was going to invest in me, and hopefully I repaid them.
Before we left, Steve was like, I'm coming to Phoenix. Yes! We were so ecstatic. And the funny thing is, I was only maybe 20, I think at the time, maybe 21 or so. Colangelo was like, so where you guys want to go eat and celebrate? Where you want to go, Amari? I was like, let's go to Wendy's. It's like, what, Wendy's? It just goes to show how young I truly was. Whether or not we were going to retain him, if Dallas had matched, where we were talking in terms of the stratosphere of dollars, that's an unknown. But the fact that Dallas did not ultimately step into that realm of dollars, and the fact that we walked out of there with a commitment from Steve that he would be joining us, clearly was one of those great moments in the history of the franchise.